You wanna cheat with the boss? Now you don't want get you don't want get enough with drink, get a drop cup. Can you see how the thing goes? How the thing goes? Let me hook and do. And hook. All right.
Give me a hand.
Okay.
Give your hand. Give the lady from the motherland a hand. This is we culture. This is where we come from. Woohoo! Okay. Tributes. Diana Cassels. Grace Andrea Townsend, where are you? Tribute from Panoriddim, Jamaica's Steel Orchestra. Come to the floor. Tributes, everyone. Quiet. Tributes in the house.
Yeah. Is it? All right, everyone, we are going to continue with the tributes. Can you hear me now? Okay, good. All right, everyone, we are going to continue with the tributes. And at this moment, we have a tribute from Andrea's original steel band. And it's going to be delivered by two of her pan sisters. Let's go. In the back, we know you're having a good time, but let's see if we can get this together quickly and we will be done. All right, good. So this is a tribute from the Panoriddim Steel Orchestra of the University of the West Indies at Mona, Jamaica. So at the tender age of 10, Andrea, along with her brother Mark, gained the distinction of becoming the youngest members of the Panoriddim Steel Orchestra of the University of the West Indies at Mona, Jamaica. Now, how was this possible? 10 years old in an orchestra for college-age students. Well, their beloved mother, Miss Grace of blessed memory, brought them onto the UWI campus to watch the carnival parade around Ring Road that year. I'm going to stop. Andrea deserves better.
Yes, I agree. Please allow the lady to speak with some silence, respect.
Thank you. Their beloved mother, Miss Grace of blessed memory, brought them onto the university campus to watch the carnival parade around Ring Road that year. And there, in the steel band, they spotted their Sunday school teacher, Deanne, beating her tenor pan. And just like that, they were hooked. And so began Andrea's and Mark's lifelong affair with all things pan. And we have to keep Mark and Andrea's story at this stage because in those days, typical of twins, there was never one without the other. They badgered their mother and Sunday school teacher relentlessly to allow them to join the steel band, and Deanne finally put the proposal to the Panmen, assuring them that she and Miss Grace would take full responsibility for them. As it turned out, that was hardly necessary, for initial reservations quickly gave way to welcome and indulgence. And as the natural talent and enthusiasm of the twins captivated everyone, things took off. They took to the pans like ducks to water, and in no time were integral members of the orchestra. Andrea chose to play the formidable double tenor, one of the most difficult pans to master, and master it she did, playing effortlessly alongside fellow double tenors like Devon Brown. I think he's somewhere in the audience. And I'm going to hand over to Andrea.
In the early years, we gave Miss Grace cover. Richie, Deanne, me, Grace Andreen, Joy, Bev, Devon, Ali B, Marcia B, Layton, Hugo, Grace Eddie, Diana, and more. All of us collectively assuming the role of surrogate parents to the youngsters, protecting them when we went on playouts that were not exactly G-rated. They were barred from the early Orange Carnival playouts in Cherry Gardens, and we banned them from the Boxing Day fete in Norbrook with the spiked rum punch and an ingredient that was anonymous in the managed water. But there were many, many gigs that they enjoyed. They blew the minds of their classmates at their primary school, Hope Valley Experimental, playing Strauss' Voices of Spring with the band. They shone in the orchestra's classical concerts, starting with the breakout recital in the Old Dramatic Theater. They played the soca and kaiso of the day under the canopies of the trolleys and on the low boys come carnival time. And the limes, oh, the limes. Ochi, Port Antonio, Clydesdale, Mobe, even hiking to Blue Mountain Peak, which is the highest peak in Jamaica, with Andrea on Richie's back part of the way to the top. As they grew, we also evolved to assume roles as big sisters and brothers to the twins, as their individual personalities developed. In contrast to Mark's energetic and spirited disposition, Andrea was gentle and thoughtful, perceptive and reflective, accurately reading the personalities and the group dynamics of the band if you took the time to sit and reason quietly with her. She was a good friend to band newcomers, a patient teacher to those who are struggling with their difficult pan, a champion of the underdog. She was steadfast and true, embracing her pan family for life. When she left Jamaica with her brother for the States, she took those friendships with her and made us a permanent part of her adult life and of her wonderful family. Many of us who knew the 10-year-old Andrea, lover of pan, are here today to assure Kodjo, Jojo, and Efwa that we will always love her. We will not forget her, especially those smiling eyes. And we will keep our promise to her to be there for all of you. Thank you.
Prince, are you here? We're going to have a treat, folks. Prince is going to deliver another Ghanaian tradition. This is a praise poem. It's a dirge written specially for Andrea. Prince?
Good evening. I think it's appropriate for us all to stop making any kind of noise and to spend a moment in memory of our sister. You can actually tag along. The poem is in your program. They say weeping may go on all night. They say joy comes in the morning. But it is daybreak and our hearts still break. Nightfall and we still call for you. We ache at slightest hints of your passing. We shift through the day. We are crestfallen. Your persona was fearless and true. When from this surprise shall we all awake? Reality seems far, but it is dawning on us that the fire has left the light. Bittersweet is the sentiment. Bittersweet is the sentiment. Andrea, our dear, dear Andrea, matriarch, mother, mentor. Your loved ones are here. Your beloved is here. Each one carries within the spark, the flame, the example that you were. You were the realist, the perfectionist, the quiet storm, the calming zephyr. Your smile was sincere. You loved discipline, so you directed your children well. Though our hearts are heavy, they all swell with nostalgia as your strong feminine essence parades through our minds. Heaven, receive this gracious soul. May the list of her good deeds inspire us all. May songs of her life inspire us all. Bittersweet is the sentiment. Bittersweet is the sentiment. Andrea, our dear, dear Andrea, matriarch, mother, mentor. Your loved ones are here. Your beloved is here. Each one carries within the spark, the flame, the example that you were. It is daybreak and our hearts are still broken. It is nightfall and our hearts remain broken. Thank you. At this point, I would invite Mrs. Abuaji and Buedu Ansa to come in and invite a group that is special to Andrea.
Thank you, Prince. So good evening, everybody. Kofi and I lead an organization called the Adisadel Old Boys Association in North America. That association is an alumni association for old students from our high school called Adisadel College in Ghana. It's in Cape Coast in Ghana. Now, all alumni of Adisadel College are called Santa Clausians. So you will see there's a number of us here and our colleagues will be coming up in a few minutes. But we wanted to share with you some context about what we're about to do. When we went to that school, one of the traditions that we were taught, right? Our school motto is either the best or with the best. Or in Latin, it would be vel primus, vel cum primus. Now, one of the things we do, we have a school ode and we have a battle hymn, right? And we're going to sing them today. And part of the reason why we do that is whenever there's, in good times or in bad times, whenever there's a celebration of life, celebration of achievements, when we lose loved ones, we get together, we sing these songs as a way to show our brother that we're standing with him, whether it's in good times or in bad times. We want Kojo to know that as a Santa Clausian body, we're here for him, we're standing with him through this difficult time, and we will always be with him because our fraternity is actually very strong. So that is the context of what we're about to do. And with that, I will call on all the Santa Clausians to join us here, and we're going to take you through. We're going to sing the 2 songs. Hopefully you'll enjoy them. So maybe Kojo, why don't you come up, and then I'll have all the Santas come up here for us.
You can stay. No, we can sing.
You gotta sing this. Plenty. Wow. Who gonna lead?
Okay.
Okay. I'm up my thing.
Oh, I mean, that's right. That's right.
Hello? No, I'm not here. All right, guys, are you ready? So on the count of 3. 1, 2, up Santa Clausians. 1, 2, 3. Up Santa Clausians, stand up to honor those who have builded the school with their faith. Our Mater, with blessing upon us, makes us remember the strength of their name. Others have labored and we share their glory, as to do exploits and add to their gain. Those who come after will take up a story, may be worthy of singing again. Play up, Santa Clausians, so need to play up and play the game. Give nothing but your best and never think of rest. Play up for the school's great name. Play up, Santa Clausians, so need to play up and play the game. Give nothing but your best and never think of rest. Play up for the school's great name. So now we go to the battle song. On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Adisadel on the hill. Well, primus, welcome, primus, alma mater of great men, Santa Clausians of Hail, Adisco, Hail, Adisco, we shall never be beaten, we shall always bear the power. Hey, hey, Adisco, hey, Adisco, we shall never be beaten, we shall always bear the power. Right.
Yeah. Where's CC? Where's CC there?
Wait.
CC. No, CC. Okay, so before we leave, yeah. Okay, before we leave, as tradition calls it, normally in Ghanaian culture, when you're family, you don't actually make contributions to funerals. But one of the things we want Kojo to know is we understand the challenges that, the difficulties that the family has been through overall. And as a Santa Clausian body, we've actually come together, raised some funds to continue to support our brother. So Kojo, just a token of our support from Alba, North America. Thank you all for indulging us.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I feel stronger, bolstered up. Oh, I feel strong. Okay. Jennifer Jalagat, where are you? Where are you? Okay, come give us some words of wisdom. A tribute. The tributes continue for Andrea, our beautiful sister friend. Welcome, Jennifer.
Thank you. So I'm here on behalf of Andrea's college alma mater. So Maryland Posse back there, what are we gonna sing? Teaser? We have a hard act to follow. Anyway, so I'm here on behalf of the Maryland Posse. For those of you who don't know, it's a community of which Andrea was a part of. She's a beloved member, and it consists of alums of the University of Maryland at College Park who attended the school in the 1990s, so that's long ago. And it consisted a lot of immigrants from the Caribbean and Africa. And a lot of us were also first generation, where like Andrea and Mark, born here, but of African or Caribbean parentage. So we were very close, and we're very blessed that we were able to have our community, and so much so that 30 years later, we're still here, and there are lots of us that like to acknowledge the Maryland Posse on the back. And the ASA, which stands for the Caribbean Student Association, if you don't know, Andrea was president of the Caribbean Student Association during that era. I was president of the African Student Association at some point, and there are a couple of ASA presidents back there. And we were so married as two organizations that a lot of us actually got married. So my husband is from Trinidad. He's there right now visiting his mother, and also Carnival is going on this time. So that's another story for another day. And my friend Reina, who sang earlier, she's from Ethiopia, and her husband is from the Caribbean, from Trinidad. And Diana is there, and she's from Ghana, and her husband is also from the Caribbean. And Andrea was the one to flip the script. So she's Caribbean. She's married to an African, so yay for Andrea. So we were so blessed as a community. We raised our children together in parallel. So that was a good thing that, you know, as Andrea was raising FY and Jojo, that there were folks from the community, we were also raising our children together. So for example, Jojo's a freshman in college, and Jillian and Mark's son, Alex, is college as well, freshman, and so is Diana and Kirk's son is a freshman in college as well. And who else was the other person? What's somebody saying? Oh, well, anyway. So we are so blessed as a community just to be able to raise our children together. And we were also blessed that other than one person who we lost, that we haven't lost any member of our community, that we've been able to survive the pandemic, survive COVID, and power through everything until 2 Fridays ago when we unfortunately lost our dear Andrea. So it was quite a shock, but I wanted to give you guys a little bit of backstory before I give my tribute on behalf of the Maryland Posse of how we got our name Maryland Posse in the first place. It's infamous. It's a good story. And we didn't name ourselves Maryland Posse at all. And I'll tell you how Andrea played a role in that. So because we were, we were Caribbean and African, but next door is Howard University. So Howard University had a huge Caribbean Student Association. And because there were more of them, they were able to have these amazing parties, get these soca and calypso artists in town, and we wanted to go. But, we were broke college students. And like I said, a lot of us were immigrants. Some of us sent to America, not to party, but to go get your education and your books. So, and thinking about the exchange rate, 10,000 leones to $1, You were not spending 100,000 leones to go to a party. So we came up with a plan of how we would get to these parties. And when I say we, it's really the Caribbeans. The Caribbean Student Association, the kids from the Caribbeans, they had more chutzpah. Us Africans were a little bit more quiet and dignified and not really about that life. So the plan was to, when you found out a party on Friday or Saturday, we had to get as many ASA and CSA members together because we were going to go to that party. We didn't care if we have any money. And actually, if you didn't have money, that was good because we wanted, part of the plan, you needed to bring quarters and dimes and things like that, right? So we would track down the people who had cars. Andrea had a car. So she was going to be one of the integral members that we were going to say, Andrea, what you doing on Friday? Come on, we have a party. Yes, let's go. So we would show up to these parties, 2 cars, 10 people in each car. Because we didn't have cars back then. I live near the University of Maryland now, and these kids with these vehicles, it was nothing like that back then. So we would show up in these cars, and if the party was $10 and $20, it didn't matter to us. We told everyone, get all your coins, and 20 of us would show up at the door, and they would say, here comes the Maryland Posse. So that's how we got our names. You think about the Western movies when there's a posse coming to the town to wreak havoc and they leave. And then, a few minutes later, they come back. So that was us. We would come and they would see us coming. And we would say to them, they would say, nah, Maryland, you have to pay $10, $20. And we would say, you're going to give up $100. You're going to give up $100. And they were like, okay, fine, come on. And so we would go in and have an amazing time and partied and enjoyed our experience. Then we go back to College Park where we came from until there was the next party. And then there was like, here comes the Maryland Posse. So that's how we got our name, the Maryland Posse. And I know for the family, it was a shock for them to learn, even though Andrea had a private battle with colon cancer for a year, a lot of us didn't know. So 2 Fridays ago, we members of the Maryland Posse learned on the same day that she was suffering, she was dealing with cancer. She was in hospice and she passed away. It was one day. So a lot of us were just in total shock. And shock, when I talked to people afterwards, that was the one word that people came back, shock, because we really thought we had time. Jillian gave a poem today and she mentioned something about the walks we didn't give. So I think a lot of us were beating up ourselves because we didn't know. We wanted to be there for her. And if we could have, we definitely would have. So afterwards, the shock wore off, but people started retreating to the text groups and the WhatsApp groups and the WhatsApp community. And Maryland Posse, we have a Facebook messaging group. So if you're not a member, you're here in the Maryland Posse, you're not in, get with me afterwards. I'll make sure you're getting it. So people started sharing pictures and memories of Andrea. And, I found out she actually passed away. I was in the air heading to Oberlin College with my son. He was auditioning and we landed. I got the news. Anyway, so I couldn't sleep that night, couldn't sleep the second night. There was a rapping on my window, just a constant rapping. And then I went to the bathroom and there was a drip, 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 like the faucet was dripping. So I was like, you know what? I have all these thoughts in my head. I can't get them out. Let me write something. So I got my phone, because of course, our phone's always living next to us in the bed, so I didn't have to go far. I got my phone and I wrote down this poem. I wrote down just thoughts about Andrea in this Facebook post. And the response from that Facebook post, a lot of people said, you know what? You capture Andrea perfectly. Like everything I wanted to think or say or knew or loved about Andrea, it was in that post. So I'm so honored that Mark, oh my God, I'm so honored that Mark asked me to share that poem with all of you guys who are not my Facebook friends, but I would love to have you all. And it's written into poems. It's actually it's written in the program if you want to speak, watch along. So I'm gonna try. Anyway.
I'm coming to support you.
Okay, thank you so much. So Andrea will be missed by her beloved large University of Maryland Terp family, the Maryland Posse. We will miss her smile. You saw Andrea's smile and laughing eyes. I think someone described it as smiling eyes when she entered the room. Ask anyone who knew her and they tell you that what they most remembered by Andrea, she was always smiling. She was kind and genuine and honest, brutally honest. Those of you who know her, she did not mince words. Her job was not to make you feel better about yourself. Her job was to tell you what you needed to hear, because sometimes everyone needs that person who's gonna be like, Jennifer, you know what? You need to hear this. That was Andrea. She and her twin brother, Mark Johnson, had a formidable bond and their own twin language. I don't know how many of you guys know this. You haven't lived life unless you witness two people speak in a tongue native to them only. One thing we knew about Andrea, she was the most mama bear of them all. Her son Jojo, a recruited soccer star, now a college freshman, and her bright, confident daughter Efwa, a high school freshman, were her world. If you can catch her ear, she'd give you the play-by-play of their triumphs and hurdles, navigating classes and club soccer, and about her daughter exploring volleyball and teen girl social circles. She would support them in whatever they were passionate about, but she never pushed, and she remained their most passionate advocate. At close to 6 feet tall, she loomed as a striking figure. Andrea stood tall, head high. She never shrunk. But instead, what she did was she lifted you up into deep conversations and exploring the whys of situational conflicts. I didn't even realize she had a major in criminal justice, but it makes sense. She loved Terps basketball and all sports, and she can converse with you for hours about stats and players and trades. She had big plans of retiring Africa. There she supported the love of her life, husband's Kojo dream to open a business in his native Ghana. It is a nation not too dissimilar in culture, as Kojo said. They learned eventually together that the cultures are quite similar. She considered her native Jamaica, and she was ready to call it home. At one time, not long ago, she considered moving the entire family to live in Ghana. And on one occasion, she expressed how grateful she was to know that her son got to go to Ghana with his dad 2 summers ago and experience a rite of ritual there. She shared with us photos of Jojo looking regal in his kente cloth, draping and tied over one shoulder. Her kids were her pride and joy. And that's why it is so hard and sad to know that they have lost their biggest cheerleader 2 Fridays ago after a long, courageous battle with colon cancer. And though Andrea wanted so much to be there for her daughter's prom, and to see her son graduate from college, to watch more of their games in person, we know that she will still experience all of those moments in spirit form and will always be there as a guiding force. She's at peace and no longer in agony. The fear that may have washed over her during those final weeks has been replaced by the calm and joy of knowing an abundant afterlife. One thing that is comforting is that her mom, whose passing consumed Andrea in a long grief that lasted several years, was there to greet her as she crossed over to the other side. Life is short and temporary, but our time here on earth lasts forever in the memories of those left behind. Make each moment count, and they will become those warm memories that bring comfort and solace and will be your greatest gift and contribution to those left to grieve. Thank you, Andrea, for being a good friend and a great person. We will love you and we will miss you. And one thing I wanted to say in the end is that we can do one legacy for Andrea is to make sure that we are there for Kojo and Jojo and Efwa, because after all of this, after people go home, what's left is the still of the night. It's the quiet, especially when Jojo goes back to school. It's going to be Kojo and Effie in the big house, and her spirit and her presence is going to be missed. So we, as a community, all of us, to make sure we check in once in a while, make sure they're doing okay. And finally, for those of you over 45, get your colonoscopy, get your appointments, and make sure that, we take care of ourselves, because we don't want this, silent, deadly disease to take another one of us too soon. Okay, thank you very much.
Beautiful. We're gonna open it up. Beautiful, Jennifer. We're gonna open it up. I know everybody wants to talk. Listen, how about we do 2-minute shots? 2-minute shots. Come up and say all you want to say in 2 minutes. Who wants to be first? Wayne, Andrea's brother. Wayne is coming to talk to us.
Hello. Yes, I'm the big brother. I've heard so many things about Andrea that I didn't even know. So I'm not going to take up much time. There is one special moment that we had. When she was getting married, my mother told me that she was going to get married, so I was so happy. I thought that I'm going to finally see my sister in her wedding dress. So I consulted my mother, and she said, "Oh, no, she's already married." So I called her, and I said, "Well, who is this guy?" She said, "Well, his name is Kojo." I said, "Kojo?" I said, "Where Kojo from?" She said, "Kojo from Ghana." I said, "Ghana?" I said, "All right. You like Kojo?" "I like Kojo too." "You love Kojo?" "I love Kojo too." "But any day you stop love Kojo, I don't love Kojo no more." And I say, "Should never stop love Kojo. So, Kojo, you're part of me." Okay? All right. I'm not going to take up much of your time. I'm glad that to hear the stories about Andrea. It has enlightened me. I didn't know that. I'm honored to be here. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Wayne. As the next person comes to the microphone, I just want to take this opportunity to say, for those who ask about cash donation, they said, please, we don't have cash in our pockets. Give me a cash app. It is $CHEWAGA, Chewaga. What a fancy cash app handle. Chewaga, for those who want to donate on Cash App, those who ask, and $Chewaga. Thanks for that correction. And the next one is, the Zelle is eaokran@yahoo.com. These are all very trustworthy accounts, okay? Very trustworthy accounts. And for those who ask, we don't have no cash in our pockets, we will do Cash App or Zelle. Thank you. I have it right here. You can come and check it out.
Thank you, sir. Good evening, everyone. My name is Claudette Green Thompson. In 1999, I met Andrea at the University of Maryland, College Park. Both of us were studying. Andrea was the first Jamaican I met on campus. In speaking to Andrea told me that she was from Mona Heights. And then she changed and said she was from Elisa Flats. And I said to her, I used to live on the Heritage Drive. She mentioned Hope Valley Experimental School. And I said to her, my two nieces went to Hope Valley Experimental School. And I could tell her about the Chevans children as well as Ingrid Kirkwood children. Andrea, when I told her that I was working at Georgetown University, she said my friend Grace worked there and I should go and find her. And I went and I found Grace. I remember at one time I said I was going to study, I think it was a CIA exam and CISA exam, and she said Mark was doing something similar to that. And she said that both of us could study together. And I think Mark and I spoke for some time, but we became Facebook friends. We were more active on Facebook. And I remember when I went to the Jamaican Independence Day celebration, and as I was leaving, Mark saw me and I saw him. And that's how we introduced ourselves to each other. This is the second time that I've seen Mark since then. Andrea was a kind and loving person. When I was living at Spring Hill Lake and we were on campus, she knew I had my two children. My 14-year-old son was taking care of my daughter, and she would always take me home. I will always remember her smile. And she also introduced me to Jonas, who is a part of the University of Maryland Posse. And she said they are good people. So the fact that she said that, Jonas and I became friends. Andrea, we will treasure all the memories that we share with you. May your soul rest in eternal peace, and may you rise in glory. Talk with my friend.
The floor is open. The floor is open. Who is coming next? Aye, Pan Man coming.
My name is Sherwin Thwaites, and I know Andrea and Mark. I'll give you a story. We used to play at CSA, Pan Master Steel Orchestra, who you guys saw earlier, used to play at CSA. And we were a bunch of, we were all Trinidadians in the band at that time. And a young man came up as we finished playing. I can't remember what song it was. And it was Mark. And he said, I play too. We used to play in Jamaica. And I'm like, Jamaica, Pan. All right. Yeah, we practice 4559 Rhode Island Avenue. Come down. So he came, and he said, I got a sister too. And then, his sister walks in, and she's tall, strapping figure. And at first, I was scared, actually. I was, wow, this girl, she might beat up a couple of us if we don't let her play. But the story goes, they both joined the band, and they were amazing. And we finally let Jamaicans in the band. And they were family. I can't call Mark and Andrea anything else but family at this point. If we've played Pan, whether it's in New York, it's in DC, we've played Pan all over. And if you guys know, when you're in a steel band, that's your family. When you're in any band, any Pan, vocals, anything, that's your family. You spend more time with them than you do a lot of the times with your own family. So, I haven't seen Andrea, probably been about 6 years. I hadn't seen her. So I just met Kojo for the first time, actually. So I'm just happy to be here to represent my brother, Mark, and the family. And Kojo, the Thwaites family, and I'm sure the Pan Masters family would agree, we're always here for you guys. And just one last thing, because you always get you might meet someone and you always get a little piece of something from them. And what I took away from Andrea, she used to drive what was that bus in Maryland? She used to drive the bus. And I was just getting my license. And those people that drive the car and they turn and it's like this, instead of hand over hand, like this, when you turn a car, that's what I learned from Andrea. So every time I turn a wheel on a car, I turn hand over hand because that's the correct way to do it. And I always think about her when I'm driving a car because she taught me how to do that. So she was an amazing soul, and it shows. It really shows with this. I'm in awe of how many people loved her. And this is the second funeral this week for someone that played Pan in the area. So it's tough for us this week, but we're going to stand strong and we're going to keep playing. We're going to keep playing. So thank you all. Enjoy.
How could I forget? I'm a good 10 years older than Andrea, right? And you. I'm not going to say that ever again. And Andrea taught me how to drive a stick shift. They used to call me Freddie, Miss Frightened Friday in Jamaica, afraid of everything. And Andrea taught me, a Jamaican, to drive a stick shift in a Mercer. I want you to know, don't mess with that girl. She's a warrior for everybody. The mic is open. Who talking next?
Thank you, ma'am. Good evening, everyone. My name is Akovi Cooper. I am a friend of Andrea and Kojo. I met them probably 17 years ago, I would say, Kojo, in 2005, when I first moved to Maryland, from Virginia to Maryland. And I just remember such warmth from Andrea. That's what everyone has talked about in here tonight. Warm-spirited, always smiling, very gracious, approaches with grace. I mean, this woman represented so much. I remember living alone in Maryland, didn't know that many people. She was always welcoming, would always welcome me to their home. And then 5 years ago, I was living in Ghana, in Accra, Ghana. Andrea and our hubby were there, Kojo, and they took time out to come and see me in Accra and my kids. So as we're sitting here tonight and reflect on Andrea's life, I think one of the things that all of us have learned is her grace and how she interacted with people, the legacy that she's leaving behind. In such a short lifespan, she did so much, but most importantly, she touched all of our hearts in here tonight. So if we take anything away, it's the fact that let's follow Andrea's footstep in how she approached humanity. Let's love people and let's check on our loved ones. It hurt me so bad to hear that Andrea had passed. I hadn't seen her for years. And now I'm just standing here thinking, always check on the people you love, check on your friends. Kojo and her beautiful kids is going to be tough. You are surrounded by love in here. But know that when we leave here tonight, we will be praying for you. The Lord is going to heal your heart, but it's going to be tough. So we hold you up in prayer. We hold you close. We hold the kids close. And may her soul rest in peace.
Amen. Amen. Ready? Steady. Hello. Ready? Steady. Who is next? Who is next?
Thank you. So I'm going to be speaking on behalf of an organization called the Lost Cafe in the UK. And they are a virtual grief counseling mentorship group in the UK. And they focus on people in the Black diaspora who have lost a loved one, and they get together every other Saturday and just share their grief with each other and support each other. And this is what Andrea used to walk her through the grief of losing her mother. So one of the organizers is a friend of mine from the UK, and I put Andrea in touch with her because Andrea, obviously, when you lose someone who was good to you and was a great woman, her mother was a hard person to lose. And as you can imagine, and those of you who know, it was difficult for her. So this Lost Cafe, I said, let me just pass the information on to Andrea. And
folks, please keep the background noise down. Someone is speaking. Have some respect, please.
Thank you. It was life-changing. Andrea got on that call, and every other Saturday, they would be on the phone for like 4 hours talking to each other through their grief and their journey. And, I realized that, Black people, we grieve in a different way to other cultures. And this was really focusing on people, Black people in America, in different parts of Africa, in the Caribbean. And it was really helpful. So on a side note, if anybody really wants something like this, please get in touch with me, Kojo, Mark, and we will give you the information. It was really transformational for her. So these, they are on the feed, but I don't think they could actually call in. So they typed something for me to read and share. So I just wanted to represent them now. So here it is. We are members of the Lost Cafe in London, UK. Andrea touched our lives in a special way. As many of you know, Andrea joined us online in the summer of 2020 as she was struggling with the loss of her mom. As we had quite a few Andreas in the group at the time, she graciously offered to become Drea. And the name stuck, so they call her Drea. So whenever Drea was mentioned, everyone knew who we were referring to. She found solace in our group, and with a bit of convincing, eventually became a very dependable co-facilitator, supporting others in their grief. So many of you, that sounds just like As someone who was guided by her lived experience, she was always calm and brought her wisdom and level-headedness to the group. She talked about her children, Jojo and Effie, with so much passion, her love for her husband, Kojo, and the special connection she shared with her twin, Mark. Dre made some firm friendships here and kept in frequent contact with individuals, even outside of the Lost Cafe. We personally developed a bond, and that may not have had great length, but it certainly had extreme depth. During the after chat at one of our Lost Cafe sessions, with those online were discussing attending an event, she said, I wish I could come too, come to those people in London and see what they're doing and hang out with them. We were like, so why don't you? Not expecting her to show up, Andrea hopped on a plane for a long weekend, and those of us who weren't in on the secret got the huge surprise. She'd made the trip to London and brought with her gifts for everyone. That was an amazing, unforgettable, fun-packed weekend, and we are so blessed that we were able to meet her in person. We cherish the memories, the photographs, and the footage from her trip. So Drea, what can we say from our group? You were a one of a kind person who was thoughtful, intellectual, beautiful, generous, and very unique. We love you and we miss you. That's from Debbie and the people in Lost Cafe. Thank you for listening. Oops.
That was exquisite. She had a far reach, a long reach, all the way across the ocean. Who is coming next? I know you have something to say. Something quick, but something deep. I can come to you, by the way. Just raise your hand.
I met Andrea two times. Kojo, I sat in the same class with him. Show me your friend, I'll show you your character. As we sit here, what I see as people talk make you wonder what life is all about. Everybody wants to go to heaven, but nobody wants to die. We are celebrating a life which has been taken away. It was a beautiful life. Let's celebrate it well. That's all I can say. Andre was a beautiful soul. And as I speak, I'm touched. I've never been to any celebration as such. This is so beautiful that we send her away with sadness, but happiness. And I speak for my friend, my brother, Kojo. Now, she was a Jamaican. The word Anansi, what does it mean to all Jamaicans? Anansi? Spider. Some, raise my voice. The word Anansi, what does it mean to Jamaicans? Spider, right? Now in Africa, in Ghana, where we come from, Anansi is what we call spider too. Somehow, somewhere, someplace, we are connected. We are related. The word Jamaica, in my Ghana language, what I learned is Jamaica, unless I stayed. And that's a Ghana word. And I can say it honestly, like Jamaica, unless I stayed. So to me, Jamaicans and Ghanaians, we are all related. Anansi is spider. And in to all Ghanaians over here, they know Anansi is really spider. So to say, Andrea was one of us somewhere in Jamaica. Kojo found her, they bonded, and we are here to celebrate her life. When I got here, I'm like, is this a funeral? They say, yeah. I'm like, after the fact, I'm like, whoa, this is beautiful, though sad, but everybody wants to go to heaven and nobody wants to die. We are celebrating life. My bad. We are celebrating the life of a loved one. Let's celebrate it well. I met her only 2 times. And the little that I know of her, the much that you speak of her, is the more I begin to realize that life is so short that when we meet each other at any given time, let's celebrate ourselves because nobody knows. With love to the life of Miss Andrea. Next.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Hello. I want to share. My name is Echo. I'm Kojo's brother. And Andrea's brother-in-law. I want to share a few things with you guys. Very intimate. But I hope whatever I share, it's going to help somebody here. Andrea was diagnosed with cancer first week in February 2021. 3 weeks later, I was diagnosed with cancer. Andrea and I went through this journey. Kojo used to spend a lot of time taking Andrea for appointments and taking me for my appointments. He was there for her. He was there for me. Andrea and I shared a lot of intimate moments, conversations about cancer, how we feel, the stigma, the shadows, the overcast, the pain. Mine ended up in surgery. Hers ended up where she ended up. About a month ago, as I went for a test to go see if the cancer was still there, she told me, I'm rooting for you. In and out through Hopkins. I was by her side with the team, home, and the hospital. I take this very personally. I feel guilt. Guilt because I'm a survivor and she's not. I remember a week before she passed, I was sitting by her in the room. She told me to sign her will. And I said, why? She says, do it. She says, I'm not afraid of death. I wish I had more time to spend with my family. All I want to say to you guys, if you have loved ones, we wake up every day. We go about our daily duties. We don't appreciate each other, whether you're married, whether you have kids. We think tomorrow will come. Tomorrow might not come. If you love somebody, make sure you wake up and let them know you love them. Okay? You make sure you let them know you love them. Because tomorrow might not come. For the men, go get checked for prostate cancer. For everybody else, make sure you do your colonoscopies and all those different things because cancer is real. Early detection makes a difference. Thank you.
Thank you. A moment of silence. Okay? A moment of silence while the next person makes their way to the microphone. Thank you. Who coming next? Preach. Anybody coming? How we doing on time?
Right now, we're going to do something like Boyaya.
9:17. Mark Johnson, Kojo, how things looking? Should we keep going?
So, Boyaya means we are going. Heaven knows where we are going. We know we shall get there.
Two words? Okay, I don't know. We need to dim the lights, please.
DJ, you have it for me now? Just 1 second.
Whoever is in control of the lights, can you please dim the lights?
We know within we will gather.
Can we have the lights dimmed, please?
We will gather. We know we will.
Everybody try to say, we are going.
Okay. Whoever is control of the building, can you please turn off the lights? We want to do a special tribute. It's a Ghanaian tribute. Can you please have the lights turned down? And everybody else, would you please get your cell phones out? We need the lights turned off. We really do. Wow. We're getting some progress here. Some more lights down, 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 down. And will everybody take your cell phones out and turn on the light on your cell phone? Basically, this little tribute is going to show that we are all one family. It's a Ghanaian tribute. So all Ghanaians, Jamaicans, and everybody else from the Caribbean that are here, please turn on the lights on your cell phones.
Right now, we're going to do something like Boyaya.
I wish we can get all the lights off, but we're going to go with what we have.
So, Boyaya means we are going. Heaven knows where we are going. We know we shall get there.
And everybody stand up also, please.
We are going. Heaven knows where we are going. We know we will. We will gather. Heaven knows how we will gather. We know we will.
Everybody try to say, we are going.
Heaven knows where we are going. We know we will. We will get there. Heaven knows where we will get there. We know we will.
Lights in the air.
Left to right. And the road will be marked. We know we will. It will be all we know, and the road will be rocky and together. Heaven knows how we together. We know we will. We know we will. It's been a long day. life. Move on to life. Thank God do we there alive. It is a beautiful day to remember. We are making progress together. Look at we now. My guy, is a beautiful day to remember. Oh, no. We are not here forever. Yeah. Celebrate me now that I am living. Not when I die, you go throw party.
DJ, please stop the song. I've been here and I've heard a lot about Andrea. And I have heard my man right here who said, please check yourself. This was a short moment notice for me when I heard about your loss. We are here to celebrate your wife, but I've heard a lot, the beautiful aspect of your wife. My brother called me tonight and said, do you know a call? I said, of course. He says, Kojo. I said, yes. A call's brother. I said, yes. And he said, the wife passed away. I said, what? I couldn't stay home. We've lost contact for over, I don't know how many years now? Over 20 years. I have to come here. And there's one thing I want to say. When it comes to loss of family members, financial aspect is very important. I remember I went to a funeral and I don't know the cultures, but every culture is different. They were sending flowers. And I went in there and I told the people, I said, please, monetary funds is more important at this aspect. Flowers will not cut it. Please check the cash app, and let's help our brother right here. If you have not gone to the counter and give your money, please do that tonight. Kojo, I came here because of my brother. I have to come and support you. I am so sorry for your loss. And I will be here. I'm not going to try to lose your number again. We are going to keep in touch. And my condolences to you and your family.
We used to play soccer about
Yes, we used to play soccer from 25 years ago. And,
Yeah.
I mean, you can probably...
Yeah, we played on the same team for about at least 5 years.
5 years, yes.
Yeah, so this is 27 years ago. I'm happy to see you.
My condolences. Please, let's support our brother. Thank you.
Cash App, $CHEWAGA, $CHEWAGA, $CHEWAGA.
Looking for true love and I never see. I don't play many lucky in no work. Just when I want to give up, oh, you come. Give me life, oh. Give me hope, oh.